Greetings. R. Frederick Little here with another Christian news and views. And what we have here today is two subjects. Iran bombed and the Clark fan fired. I'm going to look at the Clark fan fired aspect and delay the Iran bombed a little bit. I'll make some opening remarks here, but other than that, I want to dig in a little bit deeper, and I may actually put it out under a different format rather than Christian News and Views, but it will be available all over uh, based on areas that I work on. I am acknowledging that on Saturday night, the United States bombed Iran's nukes. Acting heroically, Iran has promised retaliation. My first question is, with what? I will address this news more in the future, as I just promised. So let's move on to what I consider the real news of the day, and that's I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Rachel DiMaita. She was tweeting on her personal platform about Clark. Just about everybody. I don't even follow women's sports that much, um, but I'm certainly aware of Clark. You would have to be really uninformed not to know uh, some things about her. So let's read the article that I came across, and then we'll draw some thoughts out. Personality Rachel DiMaita was recently fired from Big Three after tweeting out highlights of the Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. DiMaita's post came while she was working at a Big Three event back in February. On Friday night, DiMaita not only confirmed she was fired by the league, but also broke down the entire situation. She began by reading a statement sent to her by the Big Three, where they expressed their displeasure with DiMaita tweeting about Clark. It has come to Big Three's attention that Miss DiMaita was posting on her social media platforms during this past weekend's Big Three games and promoting the competing New York Liberty versus Indiana Fever WNBA that was being broadcast at the same time. A statement from the Big Three said, and this was read by DiMaita, the league is extremely dismayed and disappointed by Ms. DiMaita's severe lapse in judgment while performing services for the league, during which time she should have reasonably known that she should have been promoting only league games. The league provided her with unique access and opportunity to be a focal point on a national broadcast. So management was completely taken aback to learn that she was posting about another league's games while rendering services. DiMaita then went into a more detail on the situation in a video spanning 5 minutes. And we won't be covering that. I just want to, before I do what I'm going, I want to do something here. In my opinion. Here is what I think you are thinking. Poor girl. She should have known better. I mean, once her employees or employers found out it was all but certain she would be fired. Poor girl. I liked her, but she should have known better. Am I right? Is that what you are thinking? Well, I'll stop right there. And then what I wanted to do, though, is let me put a marker here so I know where I'm at. So I'm going to go back and look at some things that were said here. Okay. The league is extremely dismayed and disappointed by Ms. DiMaita's severe lapse in judgment while performing services for the league, during which time she should have reasonably known that she should have been promoting only league games. The league provided her with unique access and opportunity to be a focal point on a national broadcast. So management was completely taken aback to learn that she was posting about another league's games while rendering services. They are equating her postings as promoting. Let's go back a little bit further. Here we are. It has come to Big Three's attention that Ms. Dimaida was posting on her social media platforms during this past weekend's Big Three games and promoting and competing New York Liberty versus Indiana Fever, or WNBA, that was being broadcast at the same time. And so that's a very interesting comment that they've put on. Listen to this again. It has come to Big Three's attention that Miss Dimaida was posting on, now catch this, her social media platform during this past weekend's Big Three games and promoting the competing New York Liberty versus Indiana Fever. Now, I don't know what she said in her 5-minute televised interview, but she's not even going to argue with him at all. She's moving on. But I think there's a problem that exists here, and this statement by them indicates what that problem is. Remember those words: her social media and promoting the competing competing New York Liberty versus Indiana Fever. So let's move on from there. And so, okay, so we've already talked about what you thought. And then here's my thinking. Well, I take a different view than you do. If that's what you feel, is she should have known better and kept and not tweeted and so forth. Let me say this. They said nothing about the quality of her work for them. Did this posting that she was doing have in any way contradict or undermine her own work? They don't say that. They use the word promoting. Well, if you're tweeting and posting on your own social media, that's not what you would normally call as professional promoting. I promote. I promote my business. I promote my clients' work. A lot of different things that I do out there that I put out on my Facebook and Instagram, even YouTube, and perhaps to some degree on LinkedIn. What I'm doing is I'm out and out with promoting, but I throw a lot of information out there, and some of it's actually promotion work, and some of it's just um, family, familiar, interesting content that people might like to know about me. But the thing is, this was her platform. And that's what I want to zero in on here. Ever since the rise of the internet, businesses have been aggressively grasping control of what was once considered private or personal property. I think it began with using your social media activities to determine if you are fit for a hire. You might argue that they are only trying to protect themselves. They don't want to get a bad hire. And I'm not saying you are right or wrong about the motive. I am simply saying that unless someone decides to stop this power grab, it will become worse long before it gets better. We won't have to worry about the government anymore. We always talk about government overreach and things of this nature. That's nothing compared to what the businesses are doing. You try to go get a job today, and one of the first things they're going to do is check out your social media. If you have a social media platform, if you have a footprint out there, they're going to go after it. And you may have had a simple conversation with somebody, meant nothing to you other than it was personal. And it may have been something that was between the two of you that didn't have any connection to any outward thing at all. It was just some thoughts. And so but they see that and they grasp something that is said, okay, what's that about? Explain that to us. Well, should you have to explain your personal life to a potential employer? Um, there are a lot of laws out there to protect you against those very kinds of attacks. Employers want to know everything there is to know about you. If you didn't brush your teeth in the morning, they want to know why. Uh, so I would say that is how it got started. Now, I don't know if there's any law or court opinion out there that undermines the out of control grasping of personal rights and turning them into essentially fair game status. Maybe we've already lost this war and we just don't know it yet. And so, as I bring this to a close, I just want you to remember that we live in a country where we all have rights and responsibilities. Well, some of the rights we have are property rights and things of this nature. I would contend that my social media platform is personal. I have two pages. I have a personal page and then I have a business page. That's different. A business page doesn't have the personal property protections that the personal page has. So that if you are operating on a business page, what you say matters, and they have a right to investigate that. But if what you are using is your personal page to express things, then they have no business being there. That's my contention. Whether it's you seeking employment or you're actually working for somebody. I know of companies that will say this, that you can, if a reporter comes to you and says, what do you know about this company? Well, they know, for instance, that you're an employee. So your first choice should be to, stay away from answering that question or refer them to that company's HR or something else similar. But the company goes further. Now that's natural. That I have no problem with that. But the company goes further and they say you can't even talk casually to somebody. And I've had people ask me questions about a company that I'm affiliated with, and they'll ask personal questions. Now I will answer those questions. I believe they deserve an answer. How much I give them? Not a whole lot. um, but that's part of that's ignorance on my part. I can only tell them what I know, and I don't know much. Excuse me. Um, but even what I know, I don't give them everything I know. I give them only what I think is profitable for them and for the company to know. I don't want to turn them against that company. I don't want to turn them, against any company. And so I try to keep a measured response. But they don't even want you to do that. And so that's something that you have to wade and work your way through and everything. It's a bad situation and getting worse. Like I said, we may have already lost this battle, and we just don't know it yet. But I think somebody needs to take it up and fight for it, because every time we lose a right, rarely do we get it back. Well, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this conference, and like I said, I will get onto the this bombing of Iran's nukes. Um, Too bad we didn't use a nuclear bomb. I could have called my headline when it was Iran's nuke problem nuked or something along that line. Well, you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. And I hope that in the meantime, I have accomplished at least one of the three things I always talk about: informing you, encouraging you, and inspiring you. And at least I hope I've given you something to think about. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Well, let me know. Or if you disagree, let me know that too. And if you agree or disagree and you have some facts you want to throw into the fire, then go right along and do so. But be nice. Well, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next episode.